Tonight there is no need to think about tomorrow. There is no need to remember yesterday. Let the noise of the day, its urgent demands and its lingering worries, fall away from you now. Imagine them as grains of heavy sand slipping one by one through your open fingers, returning to a quiet earth. Let the weight of your limbs dissolve. Let the tension in your mind recede like a slow tide pulling away from the shore, leaving behind only a smooth, clean stillness. Imagine the thoughts of your day as heavy robes you have worn for too long. One by one, you let them drop to the floor. The robe of your obligations, the robe of your anxieties, the robe of your expectations. They fall away, leaving you unburdened, standing in the simple, quiet truth of your own presence. Tonight we will not wrestle with the complexities of life. Instead, we take a different kind of journey, a journey that every king and every farmer has taken, a journey that begins not with a first breath, but with a final quiet ending. You have just died. There is no shock. There is no pain, no struggle. There is only a slow, graceful detachment, a gentle and methodical unraveling, as if your thoughts, your awareness, your very sense of self were being carefully peeled away from the heavy shell of your body like a precious parchment being lifted from a clay vessel. You see nothing at first, and in that nothingness there is a profound comfort. It is a soft, deep darkness, a velvety, welcoming void, like the perfect moment just before sleep finally claims you. But you are not asleep. You are more awake than ever before. You are still there. Still you, lighter somehow, unburdened from the dense gravity of bone and blood. You exist as a point of pure consciousness, a silent observer in the heart of a great, patient silence. You try to recall the feeling of your own heartbeat, that steady drum that accompanied every moment of your life, but the memory is a faint echo, a song from a distant room. You try to recall the feeling of breath filling your lungs, but the sensation is foreign now, an artifact of a world you have just left behind. The sensation of the air, if one can call it that, is the first thing your awareness registers with. Clarity. It feels impossibly thin, cool and dry, like the air of the high desert at midnight, scrubbed clean of all moisture, all scent, all life. It is an atmosphere that does not fill lungs, for you no longer possess them, but it fills the very space of your being with a purity that feels ancient. There is no ceiling above you, no walls beside you, no ground beneath your spectral feet. Yet you are not lost. You have the distinct and undeniable sense of drifting forward. It is not flying, for that implies effort and will. It is not falling, for that implies fear and a lack of control. This is something else, a steady, inevitable, gentle procession, a current in an unseen river pulling you towards a destination you cannot yet comprehend, but which your soul recognizes as its own. This vast, dark expanse feels familiar. It is the primordial water, the formless state of none from which all way creation was born. You are, in a sense, returning to the origin, a single point of awareness in the cosmic ocean that existed before the first sunrise. You drift in this perfect, featureless void for a time that has no measure. Seconds could be centuries. Here, your essence begins a subtle but profound separation, a divine mitosis. You can sense two parts of yourself becoming distinct, like oil and water. There is your Ka, your vital life force, the invisible, spiritual, twin that walked beside you your entire life. mirroring your every action, your every breath. It feels warm, vibrant, and it longs to stay close to the world of the living, to the tomb that holds your mortal remains, where it must draw sustenance from the offerings of bread and beer left by those you loved. It is your anchor to the earth you have left. And then there is your Ba, the part of you that is experiencing this now, your personality, your character, your soul, often depicted as a bird with a human head, a creature of two worlds. The Ba is the traveler, the explorer. It is a being of spirit, but it carries all your memories, your wisdom, your flaws. And it is this part of you, your Ba, that must now undertake the most perilous and profound journey of all. It feels the gentle pull forward into the heart of the great unknown, leaving its earthbound twin to its vigil, and then after an eternity of silent drifting, there is a change. A whisper, it is not a voice made of sound and breath. It is more like a ripple in the fabric of the stillness, a shift in the pressure of the void, a presence. A breath impossibly warm and ancient brushes past your awareness, leaving a trail of goosebumps on a skin you no longer have. You sense something immense and powerful around you. Not a physical thing, but a state of being, presence, not pressure. As if the universe itself, in all its silent majesty, is holding its breath, patiently waiting for your next step, your next thought. This is your introduction to the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, a realm not of punishment, but of trial and transition, populated by gods and demons, guardians and guides. And they, in their timeless existence, have noticed your arrival. They feel your light, however small, enter their ancient domain. Slowly, almost shyly, light begins to form in the distance ahead. It is not the harsh, demanding light of the sun, which casts sharp shadows and reveals all flaws. This is a softer light, a cooler light, more like the silvery reflection of a full moon on the surface of deep, black, still water. As you drift inelutablement towards it, you feel a gentle gravity take hold of you, pulling you softly downward. You are no longer floating in an endless void. You are standing. And the ground beneath your feet is cold, smooth stone. A floor so polished it feels like walking on a frozen lake, yet it is as dark as a starless night. It feels like a corridor, carved from a single, impossibly large piece of obsidian. The coldness seeps into the soles of your spiritual feet, a chill that is not unpleasant, but profound. It is the cold of ages, the cold of a place that the sun has never touched. The darkness, once featureless, now has shape, has purpose, has memory. Walls rise on either side of you. They are impossibly high, ancient, and their surfaces are not smooth, but uneven, carved, you sense, not by the hands of men, but by the silent passage of countless souls over countless millennia. These walls hum, not with sound, but with a deep, resonant vibration. It is the hum of memory itself, of every life, every hope, every fear that has passed this way. If you were to press your hand against the stone, you might feel the faint ghostly echo of a forgotten lullaby, the distant clang of a bronze sword from a battle lost to time, the soft weeping of a queen for her king. The walls have absorbed it all. This corridor has welcomed pharaohs in their gilded finery and farmers in their dusty linen. It has welcomed scribes whose hands were stained with ink and soldiers whose hearts were heavy with battle. It makes no distinction. It has welcomed them all and now it welcomes you. Its ancient silence is a form of greeting, a testament to the gravity of your arrival. A voice, low and distant, whispers your name. You don't know how you hear it. Your ears, they are dust. Your mind, it is an echo. It does not matter. The name resonates in the very core of your being. You know it is yours. It is the first familiar thing in this vast, unfamiliar landscape, and it gives you the strength to move, to place one foot in front of the other. Ahead, the long corridor narrows. At its very end, a single tall, imposing archway stands as a silent gatekeeper. It is etched from top to bottom with symbols that are unfamiliar to your mortal mind, but which your soul feels it has always known. These are the sacred hieroglyphs, the language of the gods. You see the Ankh, a loop above a cross, not just a symbol of life, but the very promise of it, the breath of the gods made visible in stone. You see the eye of Horus, watchful and whole, a silent promise of protection and restoration on this journey into the fragmented unknown. You see the Djed pillar, the backbone of Osiris himself, a symbol of stability and endurance in this place of change. They all pulse with a faint internal light of their own, a soft glow of gold and deep, red and a royal star-filled indigo. They are like old embers, still alive with a magic that time cannot extinguish. You walk. You are not rushed. You are not afraid. There is a strange and serene sense of purpose in your steps now. Each footfall makes an echo, a soft, percussive sound that does not bounce off the walls, but seems to be absorbed by them, as if the walls themselves are listening, acknowledging your progress, recording your passage for all of eternity. The air grows warmer as you approach the arch, the light from the glyphs washing over you like a silent, purifying blessing, preparing you for what lies beyond. You pass under the archway, and suddenly there is a profound, instantaneous change. The cool, sterile air of the corridor vanishes. The scent of the desert wind fills your senses. A dry, warm wind carrying the faintest, most elegant traces of myrrh, of natron salt, and of something like the sweet, sacred smoke from a temple brazier. It is the scent of rituals, the scent of preservation, the scent of forever. You have entered the Hall of Two Truths, the Hall of Waiting. It is a chamber so vast that its ceiling is completely lost in an impenetrable darkness, a darkness that feels like the night sky itself. Its floor is a single, unbroken mirror of polished onyx, and in its perfect dark surface, a cosmos of unknown stars is reflected, swirling in silent cosmic ballets. These are not the constellations of your world, but the star charts of the gods. The space feels infinite, yet strangely intimate, as if it was created just for you, just for this moment. Along the distant walls, great torches are mounted, but their flames are frozen, unmoving. They do not flicker, they do not dance, they do not consume their fuel. They simply burn, steady, eternal, a light outside of time, illuminating a moment that is also outside of time. And there, in the center of this impossible hall, in the heart of this perfect silence, they wait for you. To your left stands the divine presence of the jackal-headed god, Anubis, the master of embalming, the guardian of the scales. He is not a statue of cold stone. He is still, perfectly still, but he is intensely alive. His dark, intelligent eyes watch you with a calm that has seen the end of all things. He is robed in pure white linen, and in one hand he holds the great golden scales of justice. They are exquisitely crafted, balanced on a single sharp point, so sensitive they could weigh a thought. In his other hand, resting delicately on his palm, is a single pure white ostrich feather, the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth. It seems to weigh nothing, and yet it holds the weight of the entire universe, the weight of cosmic law itself. To your right, there is a seated figure with the long, curved beak and wise head of an ibis. It is Thoth, the divine scribe, the tongue of Ra, the record-keeper of the gods. Upon his lap rests a long, seemingly endless papyrus scroll that unrolls onto the onyx floor. With a slender reed pen dipped in an ink that seems made of crushed night, he is inscribing your name, your deeds, your life. The sound of his pen scratching upon the papyrus is the only sound in the great hall. A gentle, rhythmic, hypnotic scratching that is both the beginning and the end of your story. It is a sound that is both a judgment and a poem, but they do not speak, not yet. They do not look at you directly. Their focus is on their divine task. They are waiting for something or someone. They are waiting for your heart to finish its own story, to shed the last echoes and illusions of the world of light and noise. They are waiting for you to become fully present, fully aware in this sacred, silent space. This waiting is an act of grace. It is a time for the soul to acclimate to the sheer intensity of the divine, a time for the turbulent waters of mortal memory to grow still, so that what lies at the bottom, the pure, honest truth of your life, can be seen with perfect clarity. You take a breath, if you can call it that, a deep, settling intake of this timeless air, and you feel the impulse to sit. As if summoned by your very stillness, a simple, unadorned stone bench appears on the onyx floor beneath you. It is cool and solid. You sit, and you wait with them. This is not judgment, not yet. This is a moment of divine transition, a sacred pause. This is the time for remembering, a time to let the chaotic, conflicting memories of your life settle like dust, until only the truth remains. Soon, very soon, you will be asked to recall the true weight of your heart, the weight of your intentions, your kindnesses, your angers, your loves, your secret shames, and your quiet triumphs. But not now, not yet. Now, you rest, you wait, and you listen to the silence. The silence in the great hall is not empty. It is full of the weight of eternity, the presence of the gods, and the gravity of your own soul. You rest on the stone bench, a point of serene consciousness in a sea of timelessness. You have been resting for an age, or perhaps only a moment. Time has lost its meaning. The frozen flames of the torches burn on, their light unchanging, casting no shadows. Thoth's pen continues its soft, rhythmic scratching, a sound that has become a kind of heartbeat for this realm. You watch as Anubis stands in perfect stillness, his jackal head noble and serene, his gaze fixed upon the delicate golden scales. Before him, he is the guardian of this moment, the arbiter of the passage, and his patience is as deep as the cosmos reflected in the onyx floor. You have existed in this state of pure waiting, a spirit cleansed of the noise of life, ready for what must come next, then a change. It begins not with a sound, but with a shift in the very fabric of the silence. The rhythmic scratching of Thoth's pen ceases. The silence that follows is deeper, more profound, more expectant. It is a held breath. Slowly, with an ancient and deliberate grace that speaks of performing this sacred duty a million times, the jackal head of Anubis turns, his eyes, dark and intelligent, pools of ancient starlight that hold no judgment, finally fix upon you. There is no malice in his gaze, no anger, no impatience. There is only purpose as clean and undeniable as the edge of a sharpened blade. He does not speak, but you hear his summons in your very essence, a silent call to rise and approach, a command that cannot be disobeyed, for it is aligned with the very order of the universe. The stone bench dissolves into harmless mist as you stand. Your spectral feet make no sound as you move forward, gliding over the polished obsidian floor that reflects your own indistinct, shimmering form. You cross the vast space, moving towards the center of the hall, towards the scales that will decide your eternity. As you draw near, you become aware of other presences in the hall, presences you had not perceived before. Along the great dark walls, figures begin to resolve out of the shadows. They are tall and robed, their faces obscured by the terrifying masks of gods and demons, or shrouded entirely in a darkness that seems to drink the light. There are 42 of them in total, the assessors of Ma'at, the divine judges who have guarded the laws of the universe since the dawn of creation. Each one is a guardian of a single sacred principle, a single truth against which your life will be measured. They are silent, imposing, their collective gaze a physical weight upon your soul. You know that you must address them. You must speak your truth before them, before your heart can be weighed. This is the negative confession, not a plea for mercy, but a declaration of your life's character, a testament to the purity you carry. Within you, it is your chance to demonstrate that you understand the laws of harmony, that you lived a life worthy of joining the eternal. You must face each one, and your voice, though silent, must ring with truth. You turn to the first assessor, a towering figure robed in shadow who comes from the city of Heliopolis, and from the core of your being you declare your truth. Hail, Usek Nemt, I have not committed sin. To the second, whose face is a mask of living fire, you affirm, Hail Heptket, I have not committed robbery with violence. To a third, whose form seems to waver like a desert mirage, Hail Fenty, I have not stolen. The litany begins, a soft internal chorus, a cleansing of the soul. Your voice, silent yet heard by all, addresses each divine judge by their secret name, acknowledging their power and their domain. Hail, Eater of Shadows, I have not slain men and women. Hail, Stinking Face, I have not been deceitful. Hail, Double Lion, I have not been lazy or idle. Hail, Fiery Eyes, I have not been deaf to the words of truth. Hail, Breaker of Bones, I have not stirred up strife. Hail, Green Flame, I have not made anyone weep. Hail, He who seeth what is brought to him, I have not been a man of anger. Hail, He who is over the great ones, I have not polluted the water. Hail, Demolisher, I have not spoken with arrogance. Hail, White Teeth, I have not increased my wealth except with such things as are my own. Hail, Blood Eater, I have not uttered evil. Hail, Eater of Entrails, I have not cursed a god. Hail, Lord of Truth, I have not sought out quarrels. Hail, Wanderer, I have not made myself mighty. Hail, Lord of two horns, I have not stolen offerings from the temples. Hail, Nefertum, I have not caused terror. Hail, he who acteth with his own heart, I have not defiled the land. Hail, Silent One, I have not been an eavesdropper. Hail, Hotfoot, I have not had relations with the partner of another man. Hail, he who looketh backwards, I have not lost my temper. Hail, Dark One, I have not neglected my duties to my kinsfolk. Hail, Serpent Face, I have not acted with falsehood. Hail, Lofty One, I have not wrought evil. Each declaration is a stone being lifted from your soul, a weight being shed before the true weighing can begin. You feel yourself becoming lighter, clearer, more transparent with each confession. The 42 assessors remain silent, their stillness the only sign of their acceptance. They are not here to question you. They are here to bear witness to your own self-knowledge, to the truth you carry about yourself. When the final declaration is made, a great and profound peace settles upon you. You have spoken your life. Now it must be measured. You turn back to the scales. Anubis gives a slow, solemn nod. He gestures with one slender hand towards your chest. You feel a gentle pulling sensation, and you see a light begin to glow within your spiritual form. It is the light of your ib, your heart, the seat of your intelligence, your emotion, your conscience. It is not the physical organ of flesh and blood, but its eternal essence, the vessel that has recorded every intention, every secret joy, every hidden shame of your existence. It emerges from you not as a physical object, but as a small, luminous sphere of soft, pearlescent light pulsing gently. Within it, you can almost see the fleeting images of your life. The specific warmth of your mother's hand on your forehead during a childhood fever, the bitter taste of a foolish argument with a friend, the shimmering joy of seeing the Nile inundate the fields, bringing with it the promise of life. It is beautiful and terrifying in its honesty. Anubis extends his hand, and the sphere of light floats from you, coming to rest gently in his palm. He handles it with the immense care of a god who understands the infinite value of a single life. With his other hand, he plucks the single white feather of Ma'at from its resting place. It is impossibly light, a perfect, unblemished symbol of truth, order, and cosmic harmony. He places the feather on one of the golden pans of the scale. It settles without a sound, a tiny island of pure white in a sea of gleaming gold. Then, with the same reverence, he takes the luminous sphere of your heart and places it on the opposite pan. For a moment, there is absolute stillness. The entire hall, the entire underworld seems to lean in, waiting. Then, Anubis gently releases the mechanism of the scales. A faint crystalline chime echoes in the infinite space as the great balance is freed. The two pans, holding your life's truth and the truth of the universe, begin to move. It is the slowest, most agonizing movement you have ever witnessed. They sway gently, rising and falling by a hair's breadth. Your entire existence flashes through your consciousness, not as a series of images, but as a wave of pure feeling, the warmth of a mother's love, the sharp sting of a betrayal, the quiet satisfaction of a task well done, the hollow ache of a deep regret. Every kindness, every cruelty, every moment of courage and every moment of fear, all of it is present in this single pulsing sphere of light, and you become aware of another presence. Crouched near the base of the scales is a creature of divine terror. It is Ammit, the devourer of the dead. Her head is that of a crocodile, her powerful jaws capable of snapping bone like dry reeds. Her front torso is that of a lion, with claws that could shred granite. Her hind quarters are those of a hippopotamus, a creature of immense crushing weight. She is not evil. She is a necessary part of the cosmic order. She is divine extinction, the force that prevents the universe from becoming cluttered with impure souls. She is the embodiment of what happens if your heart, heavy with wrongdoing, should outweigh the feather of truth. To be devoured by Ammit is not to be sent to a place of punishment, but to cease to exist entirely, your soul annihilated from the cosmic record for all eternity. She waits with an infinite patience, her reptilian eyes fixed on the needle of the scale, for she is hungry. And her hunger is the price of failure. The scales continue their slow, graceful dance. They sway back and forth, the golden needle above. Them quivering, moving between two marks on the crossbeam. It is a moment stretched into forever. You feel no fear, only a profound sense of awe at the justice of it all, at the beautiful, terrifying honesty of this moment. Finally, after an immeasurable time, the movement slows. The swaying subsides. The crystalline tremble fades into stillness. The two great pans hang in perfect, exquisite equilibrium. The needle rests directly in the center, perfectly aligned. Your heart, with all its human complexities, all its joys and sorrows, weighs exactly the same as a single, perfect feather of truth. A collective, silent breath is released from the 42 assessors as they fade back into the shadows. Ammit the devourer lets out a low, disappointed growl and dissolves into the darkness, her purpose unfulfilled for now. The great tension in the hall dissolves, replaced by a warm, spreading wave of peace. The scratching of Thoth's pen begins again, but the sound is different now. It is no longer questioning, but affirming. He looks up from his endless scroll, his wise ibis eyes meeting yours for the first time. His voice is like the rustling of dry papyrus, ancient and clear. He speaks two words in the language of the gods, a proclamation that echoes through eternity. Ma Keru, true of voice, justified, vindicated. Your life has been measured, and it has been found worthy. Anubis dips his head in acknowledgement. Thoth rolls up the portion of the scroll containing your life and presents it to you, a testament to your worthiness. The path forward is now clear. You are led from the scales across the great hall towards a grand throne at its far end, a throne you had not noticed before. Seated upon it is the lord of this realm, the great god Osiris. He is majestic, wrapped as a mummy to signify his own death and resurrection. His skin is a verdant green, the color of new life and the fertile banks of the Nile. He wears the tall, white Atef crown, flanked by two ostrich feathers, and in his hands he holds the crook and the flail, symbols of kingship and the fertility of the land. His face is serene, peaceful, his gaze benevolent. He is not a king of terror, but a king of rebirth. You kneel before him, presenting the scroll of your life as declared by Thoth. Osiris looks upon you, and his expression is one of welcome. He has seen your heart, and he accepts you into his kingdom. He accepts you into eternity. The judgment is complete. Your soul is safe. The path to paradise is now open, but it is not a simple path. It is a journey that must still be taken, a path through the darkness of the Duat, which you must now traverse as one of the justified dead. You stand now in the timeless, silent majesty of the Hall of Two Truths, bathed in the serene acceptance of Osiris. The great scales are still, the devourer has retreated into shadow, and the 42 assessors have faded back into the walls from which they emerged. The air itself feels different, charged no longer with the tension of judgment, but with the quiet, profound power of vindication. You are Ma Keru, true of voice. These words are now a part of your very being, a seal of divine approval, a passport for the realms to come. The scroll of your life, affirmed by Thoth, dissolves into golden light and flows into you, not as a memory but as a strength. You have faced the ultimate accounting, and you have been found in harmony with the cosmos. A deep, resonant peace settles into the core of your essence, a peace that feels as ancient and enduring as the stone beneath your feet. But this peace is not an ending. It is a beginning. Your vindication is not a key to a simple door that opens into paradise. It is instead the key to unlocking a different kind of power, a sacred knowledge that is now awakened within your consciousness. This knowledge is your map, your armor, and your weapon for the journey ahead. It is the wisdom contained within the great collection of spells and utterances known as the Book of the Dead. Do not imagine this as a physical book that you must now carry. You have left behind the world of physical things. Instead, the sacred. Words and images that were so carefully painted by scribes on the papyrus scroll, buried with your mummy in the world of the living, now blossom within your spirit. They are no longer ink on a page. They are living patterns of energy, a divine language now fused with your own awareness. To understand this, you must understand the nature of Egyptian magic, the great force known as Heka. In the world you left behind, you may have thought of magic as a force used to bend reality to one's will. But for the ancient ones, Heka was something far more profound. It was the fundamental energy of creation itself, the power the gods used to bring the universe into being from the formless waters of Nun. To speak a magical utterance was not to command the world, but to align oneself with its divine, underlying structure. It was to speak with the same authority as a god, to declare a truth so powerful that reality itself would conform to it. And now, as a justified soul, you have been granted access to this power. The spells of the Book of the Dead are your tools to navigate the complex, often dangerous landscape of the Duat. They are not tricks or illusions. They are declarations of your new divine nature. The first effect of this awakening is a sharpening of your spiritual senses. You recall, in a distant, dreamlike way, the opening of the mouth ceremony that was performed on your mummified form. Priests with sacred instruments forged from meteoric iron touched your lips, your eyes, your ears, symbolically restoring your ability to function in the afterlife. Here, in the Duat, you feel the true power of that ritual blossoming within you. Your spiritual sight, once accustomed only to the darkness, can now perceive the subtle currents of magic that flow through this place like invisible rivers. Your spiritual hearing can now discern the faint whispers of the gods and the secret names of the guardians you will soon face. And most importantly, your spiritual voice, the voice with which you made the negative confession, is now capable of speaking the words of power, of shaping your own reality in this strange new world. The first spells that awaken within you are those of transformation. The Duat is a shifting, symbolic landscape, and to traverse it, you must be as adaptable as its nature. You cannot remain a simple, disembodied spirit. You must learn to wear new forms, to borrow the strengths and perspectives of other divine creatures. The first utterance comes to you, a gentle unfolding whisper in your mind. It is the spell for becoming a golden lotus. You focus on the words, and you feel a profound change. Your form dissolves, not into nothingness, but into pure potential. You feel yourself drawing energy from the ambient magic of the hall, reforming not as a spirit, but as a perfect celestial flower. You feel your essence as a stalk rising from the primordial waters of Nun, and your consciousness as a blossom of tightly furled golden petals. As you will it, the petals slowly unfurl, and you experience a new kind of perception. You do not see with eyes, but you perceive the light of Ra, the great sun god, even here in the underworld. You do not smell with the nose, but you are a being of pure divine fragrance, an offering of beauty to the gods. You understand in this form the nature of creation and rebirth, the cycle of closing at night and opening at dawn. You are a symbol of the sun's eternal journey, and for a timeless moment you are at perfect peace. Then another set of words rises within you, a spell of a different character, the spell for becoming a great falcon of gold. The lotus dissolves, and your consciousness soars. You feel the phantom sensation of powerful muscles rippling, of your form elongating, of a great beak, sharp and noble, forming at the forefront of your being. Your arms become vast wings, covered not in flesh, but in feathers of pure shining gold that catch and refract the faintest light. With a thought, you beat these magnificent wings, and you rise from the onyx floor, ascending into the high dark vaults of the Hall of Two Truths. You see the great hall from above, a perspective no mortal has ever known. You see the still figures of the gods, the eternal torches, the vastness of the space. Your eyesight is now that of a divine raptor, capable of seeing not just form and color, but the very truth of things, the flows of magic below. You are the sacred animal of Horus and of Ra. In this form, you are a being of power, of majesty, of divine sight. You understand that this form will allow you to traverse great distances in the Duat, to soar above its dangers, to see the path ahead with a clarity that your simple spirit form could never possess. But there are other forms, other perspectives to master. A new spell surfaces, one of agility and freedom, the utterance to become a swallow. Your great golden falcon form contracts, light and mass folding in upon themselves, reforming in an instant. You are now small, swift, and sleek. Your body is a dart of deep blue and white. Your wings are sharp, angled crescents, built for speed and acrobatic grace. You feel an incredible lightness, a freedom from all earthly weight. You can perch on the prow of the solar bark itself, a living ornament on a divine vessel. Your bird song is not mere chirping. It is a form of praise, a series of notes that resonates with the harmony of Ma'at. As a swallow, you are a creature of the threshold, at home in the sky but able to dip down to the water. You represent the eternal, indestructible stars, the Ikemusek, those that never tire. This form will allow you to navigate the narrow, winding passages of the underworld, where a falcon's wingspan would be a hindrance, to flit past dangers unnoticed, your small form a symbol of resilience and the promise of return. Yet another transformation becomes known to you, a form not of the sky, but of the earth itself, the spell to become a serpent of light. The swift swallow dissolves, and your essence flows downwards, elongating, becoming a river of pure, shimmering starlight. You have no limbs, yet you can move with impossible speed and grace. Your skin is not of scale, but of woven light, and your eyes are two glowing embers of wisdom. You are now a uraeus, the sacred cobra that adorns the crowns of pharaohs and gods. In this form, you embody renewal, for you can shed your skin and be reborn. You embody esoteric knowledge, for you can enter the secret cracks and fissures of the underworld, places no other form can reach. You are not a creature of brute force like the crocodile, but of cunning and secret power. You can feel the vibrations of the Duat through your long, glowing body, sensing danger and opportunity long before they appear. This form is for understanding the mysteries that lie hidden beneath the surface of the underworld. Having mastered these initial transformations, your awareness now turns to the words of protection. The journey ahead is fraught with peril. There are gates to be passed, guarded by fearsome entities. There are serpents of chaos, like the great Apep, who wish to devour the souls of the dead and bring an end to all order. There are traps and illusions designed to ensnare the unwary. Your purity of heart is not enough. You need the power of sacred utterance to protect you. A new chapter of the Book of the Dead unfolds in your mind. It is the spell for not dying a second time in the realm of the dead. This is perhaps the most important spell of all. It speaks of the true terror of the underworld, not punishment, but oblivion, the second death, the complete annihilation of the soul. You recite the words, and you feel a protective energy envelop you, a shimmering shield of divine light. The words declare your identity as a justified soul, one with Osiris, one who has passed the judgment and cannot be undone. You are now immune to the threat of final extinction. More spells come to you. The spell for repelling serpents. You learn the secret names of the demonic snakes that lurk in the Duat, and in knowing their names, you gain power over them. The words of the spell are a command, a declaration of your dominion over the forces of chaos. You practice the utterance, and you feel a confidence growing within you. You learn the spell for having power over water, ensuring you can navigate the many rivers and lakes of the underworld without being drowned or led astray. You learn the spell for having power over air, so you may always have the breath of life, even in the most sealed and lightless chambers of the Duat. Each spell is a tool, a key, a piece of divine technology that makes you not a victim of this realm, but a master of your own journey through it. Finally, your consciousness is drawn to one last crucial piece of magic. You feel the spiritual echo of the heart scarab, the beautiful amulet of green stone carved in the shape of a beetle that was placed upon your mummy's chest. Carved upon its underside was a spell, an appeal to your own heart, asking it not to bear witness against you during the judgment. Now that the judgment is over, the magic of the amulet transforms. Its purpose is no longer to silence, but to protect. The spell awakens within you now as the spell for preventing your heart from being taken from you. In the Duat, There are beings who might try to steal a soul's memory, its identity, its very heart. This spell seals your heart to your being, ensuring that your consciousness and your life story can never be separated from you. It is the ultimate act of self-preservation, the final piece of armor you need. You now stand once more in your simple spirit form in the Hall of Two Truths, but you are not the same soul that entered it. You arrived as a humble, uncertain spirit. You now stand as an empowered, knowledgeable being, a magician in your own right, equipped with the sacred words of the gods. The path from the hall now seems clearer, a great doorway opening where before there was only a solid wall. It leads down into the true darkness, into the winding paths and guarded gates of the Duat. The journey will be long and it will be difficult, but you are no longer afraid. You are prepared. You are Aaru, and you are armed with the Book of the Dead. You stand at the threshold. Before you lies the great gateway that opens from the Hall of Two Truths into the Duat itself. It is not a door of wood or stone, but a shimmering curtain of darkness, a tear in the fabric of reality. The serene peace of the hall is behind you. Now a comforting memory. Ahead lies the journey, the test of the knowledge you have just acquired. You are no longer a passive soul awaiting judgment. You are an active traveler, a participant in the great cosmic cycle. Taking a breath that is not a breath, you step through the gateway, and the light of the eternal torches vanishes, plunging you into a darkness deeper and more absolute than any you have known before. This is the first hour of the night. You are not falling. You are not lost. You find yourself standing on the deck of a great vessel. It is the Manjet bark, the boat of 1,000,000 years, the celestial ship of the sun god, Ra. It glows with a soft internal golden light, pushing back the oppressive darkness. The deck beneath your feet feels solid, made of a substance that is both wood and light. The air is cool and still, and the only sound is the gentle, silent glide of the bark as it moves upon a great invisible river that flows through the heart of the underworld. This is the beginning of the sun's nightly journey, a perilous voyage he must make every night through the 12 hours of the underworld so that he may be reborn at dawn. And you, as a justified soul, have been granted the honor of accompanying him. Your own rebirth is now inextricably linked to his. Your own journey to paradise is a reflection of his journey through the darkness. You are not alone on this divine vessel. At the helm stands Ra himself, his falcon head crowned with the sun disk, a being of immense ancient power, his presence a comfort against the encroaching dark. Grouped around him are other gods, his divine crew, each a personification of a necessary divine faculty. You see Sia standing near the prow, his gaze distant. He is the personification of divine perception, the mind of Ra, his intellect grasping the nature of this realm, understanding the path and its dangers before they are even encountered. Beside him stands Hu, the embodiment of divine utterance, of the authoritative command. It is his voice that will speak the words of power when needed, a voice that is not mere sound, but a creative force that can compel the underworld to yield. And you feel the presence of Heka, magic itself, a being of pure, raw creative force, the engine of the bark. It is his energy that shields the vessel and will be unleashed against the horrors that await. You are a humble passenger among this divine assembly, yet your presence is necessary. Your own purity, your status as Ma Keru, adds to the collective power of the bark, a small but vital light in the great cosmic struggle. The first hours of the journey are calm, a gentle introduction to the nature of this realm. The bark glides through a region known as the Waters of Osiris, a peaceful, pastoral landscape within the underworld. You look over the side of the glowing boat and see not a formless void, but serene, spectral fields. In these fields, other justified dead, the Aku who have completed their own journeys, live in a state of tranquil bliss. They tend to ethereal crops of wheat and barley, their forms shimmering with a soft, contented light. They look up as your bark passes, and they raise their hands in a gesture of silent greeting and encouragement. You feel their contentment wash over you, a silent communication that the trials ahead are worth the final reward. They are a promise of what awaits you at the end of your own travels. This part of the Duat is a reflection of the most fertile and peaceful lands of the Nile, a place of sustenance and rest for the blessed dead. As the bark glides into the fourth hour, the landscape begins to change. The peaceful fields give way to a strange and winding desert of black sand. This is the land of Sokar, a powerful and ancient god of the underworld, a realm of deep secrets and profound silence. The river here becomes shallow and difficult to navigate. The air grows heavy, thick with a silence that seems to absorb all light and sound. Here, the great bark of Ra cannot sail. It must transform. You watch in awe as the vessel of light dissolves, its form shifting and reforming into a magnificent, fire-breathing serpent of immense length, its golden scales glowing brightly. Ra and his divine crew now ride upon the back of this serpent, which slithers silently and powerfully through the treacherous sands of Sokar's domain. The spells of transformation you learned now make sense in a profound, visceral way. You understand that to navigate this world, one must be willing to change, to adapt, to become what the journey demands. The fifth hour brings you to the tomb of Osiris himself, the very heart of the underworld. Here, the journey of Ra and the journey of the dead intersect in a moment of profound cosmic significance. The serpent boat passes over a great hidden mound, beneath which the body of the murdered god lies. At this moment, the soul of Ra and the soul of Osiris merge into a single unified being. It is a fusion of light and darkness, of life and death, of kingship and rebirth. In this form, Ra becomes more powerful, infused with the regenerative energy of the Lord of the underworld. You feel the surge of divine power ripple through the very air, a wave of immense energy that revitalizes all the justified dead in this realm, including you. You feel your own spiritual form strengthen, your own light brighten. You are a part of this divine resurrection, a witness to the sacred mystery at the heart of creation. From the sixth hour onward, the true challenges begin. The path forward is now barred by a series of massive gates, one for each remaining hour of the night. Each gate is guarded by a fearsome ancient entity. The sixth gate looms before you. It is attended by a host of sentinel serpents, and its guardian is named He of the Loud Voice. To pass, you must demonstrate your knowledge, Your silent spiritual voice joins the chorus of the gods, declaring, I have passed by you, O serpent. I am the flame that shines on the call of the gods. The words, charged with your Ma Keru status, act as a key. The guardian serpents part, and the gate opens. You approach the seventh gate, a great oppressive structure of basalt that seems to absorb all light. Before it stands its guardian, a being with the body of a man and the head of a serpent, his eyes burning with a cold green fire. He holds a long, sharp knife in each hand. To pass, you must know his secret name and the secret name of the gate itself. This is where your study of the Book of the Dead becomes your salvation. Drawing upon the knowledge now embedded in your soul, you speak the words of power. O gate of the seventh hour, I know thee. Gate of the justified is thy name, I know, thy guardian. He who is more terrible than his neighbor is his name. I am not one to be held back. I am one who has been purified in the waters where my father Osiris was purified. The words themselves are a force, an undeniable declaration of your right to pass. The serpent-headed guardian does not fight, he cannot. Your knowledge has rendered him powerless before you. He lowers his knives, and the great basalt gate dissolves into smoke, revealing the path beyond. You pass through, your heart filled with a quiet sense of triumph. The journey continues hour after hour, gate after gate. Each one presents a new challenge. You face a being whose face is a mask of fire, another who lives on the excrement of his own victims, another whose body is made of writhing knives. But for each, you have the key, you have the knowledge. The process becomes a hypnotic, powerful ritual. You approach, you behold the guardian, you speak the sacred words, you pass. It is a litany of power, a demonstration of the supremacy of divine order over chaos. You pass through a lake of fire, a place described with terror in the world of the living, but you feel no pain. For the justified dead like you, the flames are cool and refreshing, a pool of liquid light that purifies your soul and burns away any lingering residue of your mortal life. For the damned, however, those whose hearts were heavy, this lake is an eternity of fiery torment, a place of final dissolution. The deepest and most dangerous part of the journey occurs in the 12th and final hour of the night, as the Barkma of Ra approaches the final gate that leads to the dawn. The greatest enemy of all appears. From the deepest, darkest waters of the Duat rises Apep, the great serpent of chaos. He is a being of unimaginable size, his coils miles long, his very presence an attempt to unmake creation. His roar is not a sound, but a psychic vibration that threatens to unravel the fabric of reality. He is the eternal adversary of Ra, and every night he attacks the solar bark, trying to swallow the sun and plunge the universe into eternal darkness. A great battle ensues. It is not a battle of swords and spears, but of pure magic. The gods on the bark unleash their divine power. Heka speaks words that send waves of force crashing against the great serpent. Other gods hurl spears of light, ensnaring Apep in nets of divine energy. You, too, have a role to play. You are not a mighty god, but you are Ma Keru. Your voice, now pure and true, adds to the chorus of divine utterance. You recite the spells of protection, the spells for repelling serpents. Your own light, combined with the lights of all the other justified dead on the bark, acts as a divine shield, weaving a barrier of golden energy around the vessel, protecting. Ra from the serpent's venomous chaos. You feel your own power contributing, a small but essential thread in the great tapestry of cosmic order. The battle is immense, a cosmic struggle that decides the fate of the world every single night, but order must prevail. Together the divine crew and the justified dead push back the great serpent. Apep, wounded and defeated for now, retreats. Back into the dark waters, his terrible roar a fading echo, to await his chance the next night. The final threat has been vanquished. The path is clear. The bark of Ra sails towards the eastern horizon. Here, in the final moments of the night, a great transformation occurs. Ra, having merged with Osiris and defeated chaos, is ready to be reborn. He enters the body of the sky goddess Nut and passes through her, emerging on the other side not as the falcon-headed god of midday, but as Khepri, the sacred scarab beetle. This is the god of the rising sun, the symbol of new life and spontaneous creation. The scarab pushes the newborn sun disk before it, up into the morning sky. You watch this glorious rebirth from the deck of the bark. You have made it. You have traversed the 12 perilous hours of the night. You have faced judgment, learned the sacred words, passed the gates, and helped to defeat the ultimate chaos. You have protected the sun and ensured the dawn. The deep darkness of the Duat begins to recede, replaced by the soft, gentle light of a new day. Your long, difficult journey through the underworld is over. Now your final reward, your eternal home, awaits you. The great solar bark of Ra, now transformed back into a vessel of pure golden light, glides towards the eastern horizon of the Duat. Before you the final gate dissolves, not into darkness, but into a light so pure, so warm. It feels like the first morning of creation. The air, once cool and thin, now grows heavy with the scent of lotus blossoms and damp, fertile earth. The epic, percussive rhythm of the underworld journey fades, replaced by a gentle, melodic silence. The boat comes to a soft rest against a riverbank made not of stone, but of rich, dark soil, from which tall, emerald-green reeds sway in a breeze you can feel upon your spiritual skin. Khepri, the scarab god, has successfully pushed the sun into the sky of the living world. His journey is complete for another day, and so, it seems, is yours. Ra, once again in his majestic falcon-headed form, gives you a slow, solemn nod of farewell. You have served him well. You have earned your reward. You step off the divine bark. Your feet touch the soft, warm earth, and a sensation of profound, unconditional belonging washes over you, a feeling of coming home after a journey of 1,000,000 years. This is not the cold, hard floor of the hall of judgment, nor the shifting, treacherous sands of Sokar's domain. This is solid ground. This is home. You have arrived. This is Aaru, the field of reeds, the Egyptian paradise. It is not a city of gold in the clouds, nor a realm of abstract, formless bliss. It is something far more beautiful, far more desirable to a soul that has known and loved the world of the living. It is a perfected, idealized reflection of the life you once knew along the banks of the Nile. It is everything you loved about your life, with none of the suffering, none of the loss, none of the pain. You take a moment, a long, eternal moment, to simply perceive this new reality. The light here is a constant, gentle, golden glow, like that of a perfect late afternoon that never ends. There is no harsh midday sun to scorch the land, no encroaching twilight to bring the chill of night. The sky above is a flawless, endless dome of turquoise, unblemished by a single cloud. You look across the landscape and see fields of barley and emmer wheat stretching to the horizon. But this is not the wheat of the mortal world, which could fail with drought or be consumed by locusts. The wheat here grows taller than any man, its stalks thick and strong, its heads heavy with grain of a brilliant, shimmering golden hue. Canals of crystal clear water, cleaner and purer than the earthly Nile at its most pristine, crisscross the fields in gentle flowing patterns. Along their banks grow the tall, lush reeds that give this place its name, their green fronds the color of polished emerald, rustling in a soft perpetual breeze, creating a sound like a gentle, endless sigh of contentment. The air is alive with the low, peaceful buzzing of honeybees and the scent of water lilies, so sweet and potent it seems to cleanse your very soul. You can distinguish every note in the air's perfume. The deep, earthy smell of the black soil, the clean, green scent of the reeds, and the honeyed fragrance of the lotus. You see that you have a place here. A home awaits you in the distance, a perfect replica of the house you loved on earth. Yet it is immune to decay, its walls of whitewashed mud brick always strong, its hearth always warm. Beside it lies your own plot of land, your own share of this divine paradise. You feel an impulse, not of obligation or toil, but of pure, unadulterated joy to work this land. You find a spectral plow waiting for you, made of sycamore wood and light. As you guide it through the rich, dark soil, you feel no strain, no sweat, no ache in your muscles. The work is effortless, a graceful, meditative dance between you and the fertile earth. You watch as the plowshare parts the soil, revealing its impossible richness, a darkness that promises infinite life. You take a handful of seeds from a satchel that never empties. The seeds themselves glow with a faint internal light, warm to your spiritual touch, each one a tiny promise of bounty. You cast them into the furrows, and you watch in wonder as they sprout almost instantly. You see the first green shoots push through the dark soil, then grow into tall, healthy stalks before your very eyes. The process of a season compressed into a single, graceful moment. The harvest is always impossibly bountiful. You walk through the field, the golden heads of grain brushing against your form. The act of reaping is not one of labor, but of gathering, of collecting the endless generosity of the gods. Here, there is no famine, no blight, no struggle for survival. There is only the deep, quiet satisfaction of creation, of participating in the eternal cycle of growth and abundance. You grow thirsty from your pleasant labor, and you kneel by one of the canals. You cup your hands and drink the cool, clear water. It is sweeter than any wine, more refreshing than any spring you have ever known. It quenches a thirst you did not even realize you had, a deep spiritual thirst for purity and peace. You see that the crops you have harvested can be made into bread and beer, the staples of Egyptian life. You find a hearth, and the bread you bake rises perfectly, its crust golden, its aroma heavenly. The beer you brew is a divine golden liquid that brings a warm, joyful clarity to the mind, not the fog of intoxication. To eat and drink here is not a necessity for survival, but a celebration of eternal life, a continuous act of communion with the divine bounty of this blessed realm. Your existence here is not one of idleness. It is one of meaningful, joyful activity. You might spend an afternoon playing a game of senet, the ancient game of passing. But here, the game is not one of chance. Each move of the pieces upon the board is as a reflection of your own journey, a quiet meditation on the path you took through darkness to arrive in this light. As you sit by the bank of the canal, enjoying this profound sense of peace, you see other figures in the distance, also tending to their fields, also walking along the waterways. They shimmer with the same gentle light as you, their forms serene and contented. At first they are strangers, fellow travelers who have also completed their journey, but then, as one of them turns towards you, a shock of recognition so powerful and so joyous it almost brings you to your knees, courses through your being. It is the face of your mother, not as she was when she was old and frail, but as she was in her vibrant prime, her smile as warm and loving as you have always remembered it. She sees you, and her eyes fill with a light of pure, unadulterated joy. She raises a hand, not in surprise, but in simple, loving welcome. Another figure appears beside her. It is your father, his shoulders strong, his gaze proud and kind. He looks at you with an expression of complete and utter pride, the validation you sought your entire life, now given freely and eternally. Then another, and another. Your spouse, your children, your siblings, your dearest friends, all those you have loved and lost, all those who were also judged ma keru and found worthy, are here. They have been waiting for you. There are no frantic cries, no desperate embraces. The reunion is a deep, quiet, powerful current of love and recognition that flows between you all. You approach them, and they approach you. You touch, spirit to spirit, and in that touch you share everything. Your separate journeys, your individual pains from the world of the living, all of it is understood and healed in an instant of shared love. You feel again the shared laughter of a joke told 30 years ago. You feel the quiet comfort of sitting together watching a sunset over the earthly Nile. All of it is here, pure and perfect. The broken circles of your family and your heart are finally, eternally made whole again. The loneliness of your long journey is over. You are known, you are loved, and you are home. You spend what feels like a lifetime in their company, sharing stories not with words, but with feelings and memories that pass directly from soul to soul. You play games of senet under the shade of a sycamore tree, the game pieces moving with a life of their own, the outcome always bringing gentle laughter. You walk with your loved ones through the endless, beautiful fields, pointing out the wonders of this place, your shared joy multiplying. With every new discovery, there is no more sadness, no more farewells, no more fear of loss. There is only the present moment, a perfect, unending now of peace and togetherness. In this state of ultimate peace and belonging, you feel one final transformation taking place within you. It is the culmination of your entire journey. Your ka, your life force, which had been tethered to your tomb, is now drawn here to the field of reeds, summoned by your perfected state. And your ba, your traveling soul, which has been your vessel throughout this long odyssey, turns to greet it. The two parts of your spirit, separated at the moment of your death, now flow towards each other. They merge, not in a violent collision, but in a gentle, luminous embrace. The light that you emit grows brighter, warmer, more stable. You are no longer just a justified spirit. You have undergone the final metamorphosis. You have become an Ak, a transfigured, effective spirit of pure light. In this new state of being, your perceptions expand once more. You are now one with the gods, one with the stars. You understand the great cosmic cycles not as a witness, but as a participant. You have the power to travel, if you wish, back to the world of the living, to visit your family's shrine as an invisible, benevolent presence. You have become a part of the shimmering fabric of the universe. You are eternal, indestructible, and complete. Your journey did not just lead you back to a perfected version of the life you knew. It led you to become a perfected version of yourself, a being of light, a star in the eternal sky. And here, in the golden light of the field of reeds surrounded by all you have ever loved, you finally understand the true meaning of peace. It is not the absence of struggle. It is the presence of a deep, abiding, and unchanging harmony with all that is, all that was, and all that ever will be. You rest. You are complete. You are at peace. You are at peace. The light of the field of reeds, the eternal golden afternoon, bathes your transfigured spirit, your Ach, in a warmth that is both physical and divine. You are complete and eternal, a being of light woven into the fabric of the cosmos. The epic journey through the darkness, the trial before the gods, the fearsome gates, and the cosmic struggle, all of it now feels like a distant epic poem in which you were the hero. Here, in this place of unending harmony, surrounded by your loved ones, you exist in a state of perfect, joyful being. From this vantage point of ultimate serenity, your consciousness, now unbound by physical law, is able to do something it could not do before. You can, if you wish, gently turn your awareness back towards the world of the living, the world of time and form that you have left behind. It is not an act of longing, for you lack nothing. It is not an act of sadness, for you feel no loss. It is an act of loving, omniscient curiosity. You wish to understand the other half of your journey, the part that was undertaken not by your traveling Ba, but by your physical body and your earthbound Ka. Your awareness flows back, a silent thought crossing the veil that separates the worlds. It does not go to your old home, nor to the bustling cities you knew, but to a specific sacred place built just for you, your tomb, your eternal house. You perceive it not with eyes, but with a deeper sense of knowing. You see the silent, solid darkness within the stone chamber, and you see the physical anchor of your soul resting within its nested coffins and sarcophagus, your mummy. From this divine perspective, you see the process of its creation not as a gruesome or morbid procedure, but as an act of profound love, a sacred art form, a desperate and beautiful attempt by the living to defy the oblivion of decay. You witness the 70 days of the embalming ritual as if they were happening now, in a single, fluid, reverent motion. You feel a deep and overwhelming sense of gratitude for the priests, the ones known as men of Anubis, as they work with focused skill and sacred purpose. You understand their actions with a clarity you never could have possessed in life. They were not just preserving a body from the inevitable corruption of the world. They were meticulously preparing a divine vessel, a permanent sanctified home for your Ka to inhabit. They were forging a physical link that would keep your soul tethered to the memory of the world, an anchor in the river of time. You watch as they perform their sacred task. You understand the removal of the internal organs, each one carefully, preserved in canopic jars, each placed under the divine protection of one of the four sons of Horus. Imseti, with his human head, guards the liver. Hapi, with his baboon head, protects the lungs. Duamutef, with his jackal head, watches over the stomach, and Kebesenuef, with his falcon head, shields the intestines. You see now that this was not a defilement, but a purification, a necessary step to remove the parts of you most subject to the chaos of decay, so that your eternal form, your cat, could approach the perfection of the gods. You perceive the long 40 days your body spent covered in natron salt, the divine substance gathered from the dry lake beds. You feel its purifying power as it drew every drop of moisture from your tissues, making you dry, unchanging, and incorruptible, like the timeless desert landscape itself. It was a process of making your mortal form as eternal as the land of Egypt, a transformation from the temporal to the permanent. Then comes the wrapping. You witness it now as the sacred art form it truly was, an art of protection and magic. Hundreds of yards of the finest white linen, applied in intricate layered patterns, a process that took many days. With each layer that is wrapped around your form, you feel the loving care and the focused intention that went into the process. The priests anoint the linens with sacred oils and resins, frankincense and myrrh, their scent a perfume meant to please the gods and ward off all that is impure. And within the wrappings, with each turn of the linen, they place the amulets, the magical guardians of your journey, each one a prayer made solid. Now, from your place in Aaru, you finally understand their true power and feel the lingering effect of their magic. You see the jed pillar, the symbol of Osiris's backbone, placed at your throat, and you feel the cosmic stability it provided to your soul during the chaos of the Duat. You see the Tayet, the sacred knot of the goddess Isis, placed upon your chest, and you recognize the gentle, fierce protection of the great mother goddess that shielded you from all harm. You see other amulets tucked deep into the folds, the scarab of transformation and rebirth, the ankh of unending life, the eye of Horus that ensured your spiritual senses would be healed and made whole. Each one was a focused beam of divine energy, a piece of magic woven into your very being, a gift of power and love from the living to the dead. And of course, your awareness is drawn to the heart scarab, resting directly over the place where your heart once beat. You recall the spell inscribed upon its base, the gentle plea for your own heart not to bear witness against you. You now smile at the memory, a soft, understanding smile of an eternal being. You see the wisdom in its placement. It was a fail-safe, a final piece of divine advocacy, ensuring that the momentary weaknesses and anxieties of a human life would not be allowed to overshadow its essential goodness in the great balance. You feel a wave of profound love and gratitude for the foresight and care of your family, who ensured that every possible magical protection was afforded to you. Your preserved body was not an empty shell. It was a fortress, an anchor, and a temple, all in one. Your awareness expands, moving from the profound stillness of your mummified form to the space that surrounds it. You perceive the walls of your burial chamber not as confining stone, but as the boundaries of a sacred and eternal space. This is not a dark, sad prison. It is your eternal house, your AWT jet, a perfect unchanging bubble of reality created for your benefit, a palace of memory and magic designed to sustain your earthbound self for all time. The walls are covered in vibrant paintings, and from your new perspective, you see that they are not mere decorations. They are alive with a potent, latent, magical energy, each scene a continuously running engine of spiritual sustenance. Your consciousness drifts towards the east wall, where a grand scene is depicted. You see a painting of yourself, not as a spirit, but in your perfected earthly form, forever young and strong, seated before a great table made of alabaster. The table is piled impossibly high with offerings. You see the rich reds and browns of roasted oxen and fowl, the vibrant greens of lettuces and cucumbers, the deep purples of grapes and figs, the golden brown crust of 1,000 loaves of bread, the tall sealed jars of wine and beer. The artist painted every detail with reverent care. But you see now that this is not just a memory of feasts past. It is a magical engine, a perpetual offering. As you watch, you can perceive the very essence, the spiritual energy of the food rising from the painting like a faint fragrant steam. This is the divine sustenance that nourishes your ka, ensuring that it will never know hunger, that it will always have a place at a bountiful table in its eternal house. You turn your awareness to another wall and see a scene of vibrant activity. It is a depiction of you hunting in the lush papyrus marshes of the Nile. You stand on a small, nimble skiff, your body poised with a throw stick in hand as a flock of ducks erupts into the air before you. Beneath the boat, the water teems with painted fish, one of which you are spearing with perfect aim. You see your family with you on the skiff, their faces alive with joy and excitement. In life, this was a cherished pastime. In death, it is a statement of power and control. This painting is a magical reenactment of the triumph of order over chaos. The wild, untamed nature of the marshes is forever dominated by your skill. The fish you catch, the birds you fell, are not just trophies. They are an eternal source of spiritual provision, their life force feeding your own. The scene guarantees that for all time you will possess the strength and vitality you had in your most vigorous moments. A third tableau captures the essence of Egyptian life, agriculture. You see yourself guiding a plow pulled by 2 strong oxen, turning the rich black earth of your fields. You see another version of yourself casting seeds with a wide, generous arc, and a third reaping the tall, golden barley with a sickle. This painting is a direct magical link to the reality you now inhabit in the field of reeds. While your Ba and your loved ones enjoy the effortless, divine harvest of Aaru, this painting ensures that your Ka has its own corresponding field in its own reality. The two are reflections of each other, one in the world of the gods, the other in the world of memory. The bounty is eternal in both realms, a dual promise that your soul, in all its complex parts, will forever be sustained. Your awareness now moves from the walls to the objects placed within the tomb. You see them not as simple grave goods, but as essential tools for your eternal existence. Lined up in a beautiful wooden chest are rows upon rows of small, mummiform figures. Your Shabtis. In life, you may have commissioned hundreds of them. Now you understand their profound importance. They are your magical servants. Engraved on each one is the powerful spell from the Book of the Dead. You can feel the magic dormant within them, waiting for your call. If, in the afterlife, you are summoned to perform any labor, to plow the fields, to irrigate the canals, to move sand, you need only call upon these figures. You would speak the words, O Shabti, if the Osiris, your name, be summoned to do any work which is to be done in the realm of the dead. You shall say, Here I am. And one of them would animate, its spirit traveling to the field of reeds to answer the call on your behalf. They are your guarantee of an eternity of leisure, a life of lordship, free from all unwanted toil. Nearby you perceive the elegant forms of model boats, placed carefully in the tomb. There is a skiff with a sail for traveling upstream against the current, and another, with only oarsmen for traveling downstream with the current. These are not toys. They are fully functional spiritual vehicles. They are your means of transportation on the great waterways of the Duat and the canals of the field of reeds, allowing you to travel and visit other blessed spirits or journey with the gods whenever you please. You also see the simple comforts of life made eternal, a spectral version of your favorite chair for your ka to rest upon, a beautifully inlaid Senate game board, so you may forever ponder the game of life, death, and passage. Each object is a thoughtful, loving provision, a testament to your family's desire to create a complete and comfortable existence for you. The tomb is not a place of ending, but a self-sustaining world, a perfect estate where one part of your soul can live in comfort and dignity, anchored to the world of memory, while your other transfigured self explores the glories of eternity.